Well, hello and welcome to Experian Business Chat. My name is Gary Stockton, and today we have two experts in the field of data management to talk about some of the investments and innovations Experian has made in AI and machine learning to improve and enrich our data. From our data enrichment team, Benjamin Bargoil, he's the director responsible for maintaining data quality and reliability for business information services. And joining our discussion from Cloudera is Anupam Singh, Cloudera's Chief Customer Officer. Welcome, everyone. So Ben, can you share a little bit about some of the data challenges we're having here at Experian?
Sure, Gary. So, most of the challenges we've been facing and we've been working closely with Cloudera and solving over the last, say, 2 years, have been in response to growing demands from the marketplace, right? What was considered acceptable even 2 years ago in terms of data coverage and data accuracy is no longer meeting the needs of our customers in the marketplace. And add to that the legacy processes and legacy environment that we operated in was challenged with keeping up with the variety, the volume, and the velocity of data that Experian has. And that coupled with our previous approaches to data management that weren't flexible enough necessarily to empower these new approaches, right? So again, most of what we wanted to solve was how can we continue to do what we're doing, but do it in a much more efficient, much more impactful way for our customers.
Okay. So Anupam, turning to you, what solution did Cloudera prescribe to Experian to help us address some of these challenges?
Machine learning is only as good as the data. And so the solution that we provided is an extensive solution called Cloudera Data Science Workbench. Yes, the more charismatic part of the product is that you can do machine learning apps and build neural networks. But in reality, where we saw Experian needed the product is things like data deduplication, classification. So it is almost the prologue to the machine learning problem. So that's the solution that we provided.
So Ben, can you explain how these investments help Experian clients?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, when we were creating these new approaches and this new team, one thing that I was absolutely determined is that I needed this centralized hub, right? I wanted a central hub on which we could build the entire new ecosystem. And as we worked with the Cloudera team, it really became obvious to us that CDSW was going to be our best choice, right? So while we were investing in CDSW, Experian's also been investing in our new technology environment, right? And putting those two together was really the key to our success, right? And so each one of these challenges that we spoke about that we're solving, they really do have a direct line of sight to BIS clients. And most of them are based on direct feedback we've received from BIS clients over the previous years, if you will. And one of the great things that we've done inside of CDSW, inside of the applications, is we actually measure, one of our KPIs is we actually measure the impact to Experian customers. So we know confidently we can state that millions and millions of BIS customer interactions with our data have been improved thanks to the solutions we've built inside of CDSW.
Anupam, so did Experian have any unique challenges that stood out to Cloudera when we engaged with you?
Of course, with Experian, I tell the team internally at Cloudera that we are all Experian customers indirectly, right? Anytime I'm going to buy something, experience is in the workflow, right? So that always stands out for us. But the sheer scale of Experian, when you have, you guys know this better than I do, but when you have almost 1 billion unique users that you're serving, you guys are one of the biggest internet properties on the planet that nobody has heard of, right? And so any small, when we were looking at the nomination for Data Impact Awards for Cloudera, any small gains, 10% for Experian, actually 100 million human beings on the planet. And so that stood out for us. That's what got us excited about working with Experian on this problem, the sheer scale of it.
So Ben, how long did it take before you saw measurable results in working with the Cloudera solution and the work that you're doing in your group?
Sure, Gary. So if you go back, let's go back 2 years ago when we were first creating this new ecosystem, and we first started our engagement with CDSW, right? Well, there was the normal growing pains, if you will, associated that with a new environment, a new tool set, and a new team that we were onboarding onto Experian as well. So between the time we started working with Cloudera, it was many months until we had created a team, launched our first application, and started to make improvements into the database. Now, fast forward to today, we have many applications that have been created, launched, and are in production. And the great thing, and this is very typical of most machine learning applications, is you spend most of your time with the data, exploring, cleansing the data, creating the features you need to use within your machine learning application. But what we see is that's the large bulk of the work. Once we get to the point we're ready to move into production, through the combined power of CDSW and our new environment, we can make significant changes in a very short amount of time. I'm talking millions of improvements in the course of a month or 2 months, right? And give you a good example of that is with industry coverage, right? Industry classification coverage. That was one of the challenges we wanted to solve, was our customers wanted us to create more industry codes for businesses, right? So we spent many months building the application, doing all kinds of great feature engineering. And then within the course of about 2 to 3 months after we launched that application, I think we added somewhere in the 20 million range new industry codes to our database. So that, again, lots of work on the front end, but as soon as we get into production, huge improvements in a short amount of time.
Wow, 20 million codes. I mean, that's going to be really meaningful for clients, I would imagine, in the overall quality.
Absolutely.
So I was thrilled to hear that we won a Cloudera Impact Award. What can you share about the Cloudera Impact Award, Anupam?
So our Data Impact Awards look for impact. We are all in enterprise software business, so sometimes we forget what impact we have. If you have a great fraud detection algorithm, you and I can safely shop on the internet, right? We are talking today through most likely some internet provider that runs its network management and its network reliability analytics on top of Cloudera. So for us, the Data Impact Awards is not just about our technology, but what impact we have had on the healthcare, banking, and telco systems of the world, of the government systems of the world. That's how we measure, and it's fairly competitive every year.
Well, we're very honored to win such a prestigious award from an organization such as yours. Can you share any criteria on what the judges looked for whenever they were choosing a winner?
What we look for is this real in terms of, does it really have an impact, or it was just a technology experiment? We found with Velcro, for example, deduplication of records is one of the biggest problems in machine learning. And the scale at which Experian deduplicated records, meaning knowing which Ben is the right Ben when I'm looking it up, is a very real problem. So all of us face it as a consumer. Same thing with establishing corporate identity. As somebody who runs a very large business at Cloudera, is sometimes you don't even know what is the actual name of the customer. So the idea that you can resolve the name of a customer is a real problem. So taking these 2 or 3 real problems, we saw the level of impact that Experian was having on its customers, but more importantly, on its indirect, all the consumers in the world. And that stood out for us.
That's great. So Ben, what has the response been that you've been seeing from Experian clients since deploying Cloudera? Has it been a good response? I would imagine it is a good response.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. So, there are some of the problems and challenges we've been addressing are more sort of behind the scenes, under the covers, if you will, like what Anupam just mentioned, improved entity resolution, improved structural integrity. So those may or may not be necessarily as overt as some of the other challenges we solved, like the industry classification example we mentioned, right? Adding all of those millions and tens of millions of codes to our database has a direct, our customers have direct line of sight to that, and we've got very positive feedback from the marketplace in terms of us embracing these new approaches and being able to solve those challenges. And like I always like to say, I'm not quite declaring victory on any of these challenges yet, but the end of the war is in sight on some of them, as I like to say. So we can see that we've almost completely removed this as an area of opportunity, and it's now we are at the meeting the needs of the marketplace now.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for sharing your perspectives on data enrichment and about the Data Impact Awards. We're absolutely thrilled to be a winner, and the meaningful improvements will be a great benefit to Experian clients. So thank you both very much.